up, everybody? Welcome to the FutureDDS Dental School Experience series, where we help you decide on which dental school is right for you. Now, every school is unique and will provide you with a different experience. And we thought, who better to explain to you what a school has to offer than a student who actually goes there? Our goal in this series is to give you a firsthand perspective on every dental program in America and ultimately help you make the right decision. So today we'll be showcasing our personal friend, Antonio McFadden, who is a first year at University of Detroit Mercy Dental. What's up, Antonio? How you doing today, man?
What's good, my brother? You all right, man? It's good. It's good to see you. I know everybody been busy, man, so, we can't get time with each other. So has everything been good, man? Just
Good, good.
school, man. You know how it go.
Cool, bro. You already know. I know how it is. I know
For
how it
real.
is. So, Antonio, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to undergrad, and what made you choose dentistry.
I'm from Detroit, Michigan, where I happen to go to school at. I did my undergrad at the University of Michigan, did a master's degree at Berry with y'all course, and then came to Detroit Mercy Dental in 2018 was the fall year. So I'm a D1, about to go to D2 year this summer. What made me chose dentistry? I say I've always been a science nerd, man. Like I remember my mom used to buy me all these like little note cards back in the day of science, man. And I just used to be just, going through them joints. It was just super interested in them, in science and that. So by the time I got to, high school, I had a science teacher who was very good at teaching and breaking down, science topics, specifically in chemistry. And then from there, I just knew I had to go into a professional field. So I remember during that time, man, and I bring the high school story up because I want people to know that even if you are in high school watching this, 9th and 10th grade, I had a 0.9 in high school. You know what I mean? So, even after high school, I went straight to the University of Michigan. I didn't, have to go to a Wayne County. I mean, not Wayne County. I don't even know what that is. To a community college. I didn't have to go to a community college or anything like that to, get to the University of Michigan. I just say that even if you're in high school, just be serious about your passion and put your feet to the ground and go for it. So, in high school, I was looking up different types of, different professions, and I was playing with pharmacy for a bit. And I remember going into my counselor's office, and they was trying to figure out. They had handed out something, I think, like my junior year for professions, and I had to pick out my profession to go and shadow. So I remember telling them that I wanted to be a pharmacist, and it was like, we never had anybody ask us to do this type of job and stuff like that. And I'm just like, it's just a pharmacist. Like I can't find no pharmacist for me. I'm not trying to downgrade the profession, of course. I'm just saying that, there's a pipeline issue, what I mean, in high schools. So, it was difficult for me to try to find a profession that worked for me. Eventually I got to, college and was playing with medicine. And luckily throughout college, I was able to work in a whole bunch of different medical professions. I was a pharmacy technician. I was a CNA, certified nurse assistant. And then eventually I became a dental assistant. But I became a dental assistant after I found this lady named Dr. Young, who was very pivotal in my career pivotal in this path to become a dentist. Without Dr. Young, I don't even think I would be in dental school at this point. But, she introduced me to dentistry, had me come to an impressions program around my junior year. And I remember going to my impressions program and meeting or listening to the impressions. I think it was just like a table dentist that was talking about the profession and talking about how dentistry and medicine as it related to business, becoming an owner. And one a special person was talking by the name of Dr. Ronald Livingston, who's now, in a sense, like my godfather. He raised me and bred me to become the person I am today in dental school. So if it wasn't for him as a mentor, I don't think I would have went to this school, or I would have been a dentist. So listening to him talk about dentistry that related as it related to business and things like that, that's what made me go into dental school. So really, the answer in a short sense was mentorship is the reason why I became a dentist.
Okay, so here's a little bit more difficult question. A lot of people are in that weird time period where they're thinking, okay, is it worth me going to go get a master's? So my question to you is, your master's experience, um, how do you think prepared you? Did you feel like it was worth you going and getting your master's? Just kind of your overall feelings towards the whole program.
I think that the Masters, man, it was super pivotal. I was just, chopping it up with my friend that's in dental school with me at this point, who also went to a master's program with. I was talking to her yesterday, and I was just like, honestly, if it wasn't, because there's a lot of people right now who are stuck in a limbo.
Mm.
It's either they graduated from undergrad, still trying to, keep their wheels spinning and trying to get a dental school, but they can't get over that hump. Like, I was trying to figure out, I was talking to her yesterday, like, what makes us different, and was able to get over that hump of, doing what we had to do to get to this point. So, and I think it was specifically going to Barry. I wouldn't even say it was master's program. Now, I'm not trying to give any clout to Barry or act like that was the pivotal part, but it was all because of the people I was surrounded around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I was studying for my DAT, y'all was at Tufts already, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you remember, I was calling y'all, asking y'all about the DAT. There was all my homies was taking the DAT, so it was easy to study.
Right.
And I was getting motivation because I seen on their Instagram and their Snapchats that they was at the library. Mm-hmm. I had to be at the library because they was at the library. You know what I mean? So I think it's more about the team that you make when you're in that master's program that's going to push you to get to that next level. Not only are you getting the knowledge from the faculty and staff that's at the school that you choose to do your master's program at, but you're also getting that motivation to get over that hump, because it's a hump that a lot of people don't get over because they're by themselves doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They don't have any mentors. They haven't been seeking out mentorship from the school that they want to attend. They just don't do a lot of stuff that's legwork to get them to dental school. And I think that to really set you apart, not only will getting the grades in that master's program and getting that work ethic and learning those skills to know how to study take you over that hump, but also it puts you around some of the top players in the country that's willing to put in the same work as you to get to that goal. So I think that it's important that, a lot of people who needs to do a master's program, like I knew I needed one because my GPA was low, that I needed to do a master's program, not only to hone in on my study skills, but to also, get out and experience new things and to really just be around those people that's going to, get me to that next level.
No, definitely. Completely agree, bro. And I think me and you have talked about this before. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we're friends and all of our other friends who are around us, we're all alike. We always push each other. And even now, granted, I'm a D2, you're a D1. But I still call you for motivation and vice versa. So it's very important who you are or who you surround yourself around. So it's always a pivotal part in anybody's success, honestly.
Yeah.
So right now, I actually want to get a couple of little quick hits on your actual school. So basically, can you tell me, one, where your school is located? How big is your school? What's your class size? And if your school is connected with the medical school, how does that work? Are you all an entity by yourself? And things of that nature. Just quick little facts about your school.
Of course.
Overall view.
So I give you a little quick story about why I went to the school specifically. Not only I said my mentor came to the school, but there are 3 generations of African-American Black male dentists from that went to this school, that has a very, 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 very pivotal role in the legacy of this school. Starting with an oral surgeon who was the second Black oral surgeon that graduated from oral surgery program in they want to say United States. And he went here, his son went here, then his son went here, and then they mentored me, and I'm here now. So that's really 4 generations. You know what I mean? So this school was very important, man, because it is a key place in Detroit for oral health care. I say that specifically because I was a dental assistant, so I know that there's not a lot of places that you can go to and get oral health care that's covered under Medicaid or covered under or has any place that you can get low income type of needs for dental care. You know what I mean? So a lot of the time when you need an oral surgery consult or you need to get oral surgery done, you can go to one of the oral surgeries who's the only Medicaid oral surgeon in Detroit. You got to wait 3 or 4 months. Where here, we can get you in and get you out in a day. So the fact that you have those type of, patients coming to the clinic, and the fact that it's medically compromised patients, and the fact that they're citizens of Detroit that I happen from Detroit, that made me want to choose this school rather than going to another school like Michigan or leaving the state and going somewhere else, because I like to see those patients that, that came from the same area as me.
Right.
And I can treat those patients, and it's just easier. You know what I mean? So the school's located in the middle of Detroit. It's right off a freeway, right 2 minutes from Midtown. Midtown is a pivotal part of any city.
Mm-hmm.
Smack dab in the middle of downtown Detroit, man. There's no better place for the school to be. A lot of people don't know much about Detroit in terms of specifically for people who want to come here. If you're thinking about coming here and you don't know much about it, I'll give you a quick rundown. It's cheap. It's in the middle of a downtown that's thriving. The crime, a lot of people talk about the crime in Detroit. It's not even relevant. You know what I mean? So it has nothing to do with you going to school and you coming to Detroit Mercy and anything like that. You shouldn't even think about that, because it doesn't even happen like that. Like here with us, nothing like that happens with us. A beautiful place, man. You can get an apartment downtown for $1,000. There's nowhere else around the country. I'm not even gonna talk about how much
Boston,
at Boston. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good school. Some of the good things about the school in terms of just like, just this academic part, the faculty, they make sure you don't fail. Mm-hmm. They make sure you don't fail. They do everything in their power so that you don't fail a class.
Right.
I mean, if you go to other schools, it's not the same way.
And we know that. I mean, we both have people at different schools who tell us differently.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That some people's first class year is 30 people repeating. You know what I mean? Where at Detroit Mercy, you don't see those type of numbers. You know what I mean? Right. So it's always an open door policy. It's always in a sense that the faculty, that's what I think that really made me want to come to the school. I only applied to one school and only apply here, but it doesn't mean that I didn't know everything else about the other schools that I didn't apply to. I just didn't want to waste any money. So it was, when the interview came, the faculty was just phenomenal. They introduced themselves. They talked to us before we even had the interview with them to make us feel comfortable. You know what I mean? So those things like that are important when you go to a school and feel like you can be, in a sense, at home when you leave home. You know what I mean? So, because you're going to be here. It's
funny because, granted, I don't think a lot of people understand how important the faculty at the school really is to your success, And
yeah.
You could tell even before you started, that the faculty was going to be there for you and supportive of you. That's huge, man. I think a lot of people don't really put that into consideration.
If you think about dentistry, and a lot of people really don't think about the nitty gritty of this profession. We're the only profession that graduates as surgeons. Mm. Only one. You can't think of any other profession that graduates as a surgeon. Mm. You go to medical school, guess what? You got to put in 3 years of residency to become a surgeon.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's nowhere else in any other profession that you graduate as a surgeon coming right out. So with that being said, hand skills, important. You know what I mean? Ergonomics, important. What you're seeing and how you need to see it, important. You know what I mean? Those things, being able to take criticism from someone who's extremely knowledgeable in the field, you know what I mean? Specialists, all these things is important because they're helping you hone in on those pivotal skills that you need so that you don't have to do a GPR, you don't have to do an AGD when you get out of school, and you can just focus on those 2 years of clinic and you can be killing it when you get out. You know what I mean? So I think that, going to a school where, not only that it's great faculty, but they have specialty programs in every specialty at the school. You know what I mean? Or people who are in clinic that, practice in private practice themselves and own a practice themselves and know the type of medically compromised patients that will enter that office at times, and you'll be having to fix them. You know what I mean? So I think that, your faculty is everything when it comes to dentistry.
Oh, definitely. And so what about the class size? How many
our class has, I don't know if it's I think it's around the middle. It's 144 people. I personally don't feel like it's a big number because of, it only becomes a big number when everybody trying to get stuff done the weekend before the test. You know what I mean? So you
Right.
know how that go.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
sim lab or like gross anatomy lab or something like that. But if you're not a person who needs to get that last minute stuff done and you need to get it done like that, it's not an issue. It doesn't play a factor in the amount of faculty that gets to have that one-on-one time with you because you get limited time of that. I feel like it's a good number, and they split us up in between two, group A and B. So, 144, I think you should get a good group of a mix of people from different places,
Right.
and you get some of the same people that look like you and act like you too. So, it's a good
Right.
thing.
That's a great thing. All right, so I'm gonna ask you to go back in time a little bit. Probably like a year and a half from today. I want you to kind of talk about your interview experience. If you remember, how was like the day set up? Was it like a group type of situation? Was it an individual type of situation? Just walk us through how your day went when you did interview at UDM.
So I'm gonna go the night before my interview.
Okay.
The night before my interview, what the school does here sometimes is have dinner with some of the students. They give you a dinner with some of the students that go to the school, so that you can kind of ease down on some of that anxiety, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of us gonna have that anxiety before. So I had dinner with a lot of the students here and talked about the school and interview and stuff like that. They was telling us to relax, whatever, because they was already in the situation. And it's crazy because I tell people to relax now, and they be like, "Yo, like, you know what I mean? You know how I go."
Easier
So,
said once you're on the other side of things.
exactly. So, the night before was good. Went to sleep, woke up around like 8 because my interview was at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my friend who's also in dental school, Twyla, she's in dental school with me. We both woke up around like 8 o'clock, ate some breakfast, got to here about 10 o'clock. Luckily, I only lived 13 minutes from the school. Waking up was it was anxiety driven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't know the unknown. Luckily, we did SEP, which is Summer Enrichment Program, here 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We always maintained our status and prevalence at the school. We came to every in-person event. We always remained known. So when we walked into that building, not only did the dean of admissions know our name, the dean know our name, and everybody who worked there knew our name, it was easy. Like, we walked in, "Hey, Tyler, hey, Antonio, come get these name tags." So that was something I think that was very important because a lot of the time, a lot of these school officials don't know you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and they hear your voice or things like that. So, they hear your name and stuff like that in the admissions, or you talk to them on the phone and they don't know you. But Detroit Mercy, a lot of the time, they will remember you. You know what I mean? So I think that it was comfortable when we walked in. One thing about the interview is they don't have your GPA or DAT score. So it's a blind in terms of that. So the only thing you really got to worry about is those extracurriculars that you have on your application. And those things about yourself that you didn't put on your application that you need to hone in on when you do talk to them about, you. So, when we came in, we sat down in the lobby. Then they, dispersed us into different groups, and we went to go into have breakfast. Had breakfast, came back out. Then we walked around the school, did a tour. After the tour, we ate lunch. Did another tour, had like a couple meetings about like financial aid situations and stuff like that. And they came out of nowhere. It was just like, all right, it's time for your interviews. You know what I mean? So they split the interviews up between the whole day among different groups. So mine happened to be at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So I remember walking. It was like, they called my name. I'm walking. I'm like, heart beating out my chest. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I happened to, go in front of the room that I was about to go into. And I knock on the door and kind of walk in. It was like, "Yo, we're not ready for you yet." I'm like, "Okay, let me," you know what I mean? Right. So I'm thinking, I'm already giving them the wrong impression, you know what I mean? So, I just wait out there for a second. They come get me like 3 minutes later. Mm-hmm. I walked in the room, sat down. They gave me a warm welcome, shook my hand. "How you doing?" We just start talking about Detroit. I think food. We start talking about food at first, which I love. And start talking about that. And then they start asking you questions, and they told me, it was like, all right, now we're about to get into the questions. Mm-hmm. So you get the anxiety builds back on after the first question, which was, who are, or tell me something about yourself. It was easy. You know what I mean? Like that's why I say the faculty here, man, is Detroit already, or a lot of people that don't know about Detroit, Detroit is known for its hospitality. So a lot of the people that's from Detroit are very like welcoming. You know what I mean? So when you come here and you're from a different state, I think that goes throughout the entire city, no matter who you are, that it's easy to have a conversation with somebody from Detroit. You know what I mean? So it was easy, man. Just, back and forth, telling them about stuff on my application. It wasn't nothing where they gave you any difficult questions. You know what I mean? So a lot of people who interviewed at other places will tell you that Detroit Mercy's interview was the easiest interview they had among all the other interviews they had because it was so relaxed. You know what I mean? So I think that, that's the thing that really made me even more want to come to the school just because of how relaxed people were. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. All right. So you go through the interview process, you get in. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know you go, 6 months, 5 months waiting on, the first day. But now I kind of want to talk about that initial transition, right? Like, how was it when you first started school? Was it an easy transition from the master's into dental school, or was it almost still like a shock to your system?
It was, I think at first, it depends on how you are. For me, some people, I always tell people this analogy, like dental school is a treadmill that's already going, and you just got to jump on and adjust to whatever rate it's going at.
Definitely.
So, at first I got on that treadmill, it was just like jumping off, jumping on, jumping off, jumping on, like, oh, I can't, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then after a while, I just started to, be okay with the speed. So at first it was, it's they do real good at just letting you just come in and not hitting you with too much tests at this school.
Right.
Excuse me. So at this school, what they do is they have you in an integrated system. So you have integrated clinical, integrated biomed, and then you have gross anatomy, and you have practice essentials, which is a class that's about ethics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's around 4 classes, but the 2 classes that's big are integrated clinical, integrated biomed, which are together around 23 credits, I think, 21 credits. 2 classes, 21 credits. You already know the deal. Like that's some work. You know what I mean? So a lot of our curriculum is surrounded around just the sciences, specifically biomed, because you're going to have a test like every week. So at first it was difficult, man, because you having a test every week I'm not used to that. Like, you know what I mean? We did a master's program. We didn't have a test every week.
Right.
On top of having I say this is pivotal. Dental school is not like your master's program.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, just for people that's listening, dental school is not like a master's program. Don't think it is. Right. Like, don't think that just because you did good in your DAT and just because you did good in the master's program, that's going to relate to you doing good in dental school. I'm not saying that you won't, but you have to change some things to do good in dental school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
agree.
So I know at first I changed some things. I had to change my study habits. I had to change my sleep. You know what I mean? I had to change my whole schedule in life.
Yeah.
Just to thrive in dental school. You know what I mean? And I'm still changing stuff. You know what I mean? So the transition wasn't easy. I don't know if it was easy for a lot of people. It wasn't easy for me specifically, but it was a transition, and I'm still transitioning. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of people just need to focus on what's next. Right. Don't think about, what happened last week in the test, or what happened in this situation, or what's happened yesterday. Just think about what's that next goal. Stay, have your routine, have a schedule, and get it done. Because dental school is difficult. You know what I mean?
Right. What's that saying where they say it's not about how hard you get hit, but how fast you get up?
Yeah,
that's dental school. That literally is dental school. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, look, it's going to be hard, but you have to keep moving forward, just like you said. A lot of people, they don't understand that at first, but by the end of it, they definitely always will, Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of the time people they so focused on, I don't know, man. They just be focused on the wrong thing sometimes when it comes to dental school, man. Like, I think that you just need to just honestly, as soon as you get hit with a test that might not work out in your favor, not only do you go to that professor, because a lot of the time, you got an undergrad mentality where you feel like going to a professor don't matter. Here, going to these professors, it matters.
Oh, definitely.
Like, not only are they, I'm not going to say they look out for you in a sense of when it comes to like, grading you in a sense, because that's not going to happen. But they are definitely going to help you with whatever you need. Like,
right.
And, that may sound cliche. It may sound like, that's everywhere. But I'm telling you, in dental school, you have to, because you need to – it's not something that you can just throw behind your back like, oh, I ain't going to need that. You're going to need everything they teach you.
Everything. It was funny because somebody even told me, they were like, whenever you have these the test review after the test, even if you made a 97, still go see what you got right, see what you got wrong, just so that you can almost reabsorb that information one more time so it's almost cemented in your brain.
Yeah.
Crucial, man. I think a lot of people don't take advantage of that, but I think it is super important. But I know that you did bring up a couple of classes. If you can, just give us like an average day. Give us like a timeline of what your average day looks like.
Yeah, so right now, like say if we was still the beginning of the semester, and this is my second semester, so it's not going to be exactly like first year.
Right.
So let's just say today on a Saturday. So we just took a test yesterday in our integrated biomed yesterday on cardiovascular and renal system. Before that, we had an assignment due that same day, Friday, which was yesterday, and then also had a gross anatomy lecture exam last week. Going into this week, I'm studying right now. You see my cranium right here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a test for the lab portion of our gross anatomy on Monday, and then we have another test on Friday and integrated. Like I said, we have a test and integrated every single week. That's biomed. So regular day just is getting ready for that test that we have up next. So say it might be a week that I'm getting ready for a test that has two tests, or a week that has one test. You never know. So that's why it's so good that you keep that schedule going. So my day-to-day, wake up in the morning, classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are mandatory. So those are like gross anatomy lectures and integrated sim clinic or sim lab. So, 8 to 5 is, from 8 to 10 is integrated clinical, which is just learning about dentistry related things. 10 to 12 is gross anatomy lab. And from 1 to 4:30 is sim lab. That's on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday we get out at 1 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock though. In between that, we might have some lectures for gross anatomy sprinkled in. Tuesday and Thursday is all integrated biomed. So it's all a day of all sciences.
Mm-hmm.
Those days are not mandatory. So, if you're not a person who likes to go to class, or, you just want to take a day off, those are the days to take off.
Mm-hmm.
But every day is a study day.
Right.
Every day is a study day.
That's another huge change from like you said, the master's program to dental school. You have to study every single day in dental school. Hey man, I try to tell people. If you take one day off, you feel behind, and you are behind.
But man, you feel like, man, it not only affects you feel behind, but tomorrow, the next day, when the next day comes, you're gonna regret not working yesterday.
Exactly, because you have a whole new 120 slides being thrown at you that you have to keep up with, And
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it funky. I done spent a lot of time studying the night before. 100%. When you get to dental school, it's like this. You're going to realize how much work you can get done in the night. You're going to figure out how much work you can get done in the night. You know what I mean? And I know in my master's program, my undergrad, and that's one thing that was a real big transition, going back from the transition question, was I used to study the night before all day undergrad and master's. Here, if you study all night, you're going to pull a 70. You know what I mean?
And be happy with it.
I'll move on so quick from that 70. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Man. And so you've been there, okay, like you said, this is your second semester. So you kind of have you understand the values, the core values of your school So if somebody was to tell you, hey, I want to apply to UDM, what is something that you would tell them to focus on their application? Like, do you think that UDM looks primarily at, of course, everybody looks at grades and DAT. That's without being said, but like, what is something that you would tell them to make sure that they had on their application, or something that they should definitely focus on in order to be a successful applicant to your school?
In general, I want to say that anybody who is in undergrad or in high school or whatever, please go do some dental assisting. Please, if you can, just do something so that you can become familiar to dentistry. Either that be in the business of dentistry or the clinic portion of dentistry. I was fortunate enough to do that. I was also fortunate enough to, have a lot of mentoring and community-related type of things. Detroit Mercy, since we're located in a very, very low-income city, in a sense, they're huge on community outreach. They're huge on doing things in the sense that, what are you doing for yourself to help for yourself to help the community that will relate to you becoming a dentist when you do work out in the community. Because a lot of the time, Detroit Mercy people want you to go out and do FQAC work, which is federally qualified health center work, or they want you to go and volunteer your time because, when you're helping patients that are low income and medically compromised, this type of thing can become your niche. This become the thing that you're good at. You know what I mean? Which is, preventing that disease from becoming systemic, and it starts in the mouth. So a lot of the time, with these type of patients, they want to see that you're able to, be familiar, for one, with the type of patient base that they have here, but also that you're doing something in the community because, it's important. You know what I mean? So within your application, I think that you need to have things that, pertain to you going and do some volunteering at soup kitchens, and that you were a part of your pre-dental association. But what did y'all do in that pre-dental association? A lot of people can, list those things of what, I was in PDA and I did this, and this, and this. But, you got to have those things in your application that when you're describing that PDA, describe that one time that y'all went to that one clinic and y'all helped with this one patient that had this one situation, and that was, big in your life. So I think that it's big that you have mentoring, community outreach, things like that. And also don't forget the shadowing and the assisting if you did that, because, it always works better when you have some experience in the field.
Right. Okay, great. And so you briefly mentioned clinic. I was going to ask you, do you know like the clinic setup of your school? What I mean by that is, are you all in the clinic now as first years? And if not, when do you all actually get to, start to see patients and things of that nature?
We don't start to see patients until so people think that, for school generally, that, once the fall semester starts, that's when the new semester starts. In dental school, that new year starts in your summer. Mm-hmm. So fall, winter, D1, summer is a D2. Fall, winter, summer, D3. So we start seeing patients our D3 year of that summer, which is right after our D2 winter semester. So we don't really typically get to see patients. I mean, we walk around the clinic all the time just to go to classes and stuff like that, but we don't see patients. But what the school does is they pair us up with our D1 and D2. They pair the D1 and D2s up so that the D2s are seeing you as their patient your whole first year. Mm-hmm. So whatever they need to do in terms of getting probing depths for perio and taking x-rays and doing those type of things, that's when you start to see your first patient, your D2 year, which is your little. You know what I mean? So in a D3 clinic setup and D4 clinic setup, I know a lot of schools where, do y'all have assistants at y'all school, or who's y'all assistant?
No. We assist our bigs.
Y'all assist y'all bigs. Yeah. Okay. So in D3 and D4, how it is the D3 and D4 are paired up. Mm-hmm. So, the D4 gets to do their work and the D3 is assisting. The D3 is doing that work and the D4 is assisting. Not only is that good because you get to learn from that D4 or that D3, but you also get to help them in those hard situations when they have a patient. You know what I mean? So that's how the clinic setup is. But a lot of the time in D1, you don't see any patients.
Okay. Okay. And so a huge topic just in general these days is mental health, right? Just making
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're right of mind, and not letting all the pressures of society, pressures of school, whatever it may be, really get to you. So I want to ask you, how does your school approach, if they do, I don't know if they do, how do they approach the whole, how do I say it, the whole work-life balance type situation? You know, do they have certain programs for you all? Do they have like counseling? Do they have like meditation? Like, does your school emphasize that at all? And if they do, kind of what type of programs do they have instilled for that type of stuff?
I mean, we don't do the yoga on the 30th floor like Tufts do.
Right, right.
It's always nice to be on the 30th floor looking over Boston doing some
Right.
yoga. But no, we have some good things here though, man. They are huge on like our dean, Dr. Judith Jones. She's huge on that. You know what I mean? She's huge on work-life balance. Because at the end of the day, when y'all get here, when y'all get to dental school, because it's not a factor of if, it's when. When y'all get to dental school, you have to think like this. This is professional. Like, it don't matter if you start in your first day one of dental school or you're starting out as a dentist. It's all the same type of grind. You know what I mean? It's all playing the same mental factor. You know what I mean? So what our school is big on is like always promoting yoga classes, team workout classes, our practice essential class, which we have every week. I think that's all 4 years of school.
Mm-hmm.
Every single not assignment, but every single like lecture will have a little thing about like mental health and you know what you can do to be better, like eating and that's a huge thing. Like when y'all get to dental school, don't try to have an hour throughout your day where you're cooking your own food, or you're working out in the gym. I can't study unless I hit the weights. You know what I mean? So I think that you have to find, as much as your school can help you, and they do. Detroit Mercy does a great thing, or a great job at trying to help you have your mental health good. But you got to do a lot for yourself in the sense of working out, going to the gym, or whatever it is, and eating right. Because when you were in a clinic or you're in a office that you own, you think that you eating a cheeseburger and going to help patients is going to work. It's not, because you're going to get your energy is going to be low. You know what I mean? You're going to be sluggish. You're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to do the things that you thought you could do after you eat that burger. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep and it helps with ergonomics. A lot of the stuff like working out helps with a lot of things in dentistry. So you want to also display a good sense of health, being that you are a healthcare provider.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that a lot of people don't even understand that, like, you almost don't know. You might not even know that your energy is low. You might be so used to it. You eat burgers, 3 times a week. You kind of snack here and there. You're not on top of your healthy eating habits the way that you should be. You're almost caught up in this situation where you don't understand that, wow, my energy is so low because of food, because that's what you're used to.
Yeah.
I urge everybody to try that. Just try to eat healthy. Try to not eat as much red meat and things like that, because I personally used to be one of those people. I mean, even living in Miami, going to Barry, up to the point, literally, I first started school, being here in Boston, that was the first time I really took my eating habits seriously.
Because you saw it.
Oh, say it again?
Because you saw that you got to produce from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m.
And you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Know? And so literally, we haven't even started. We've kind of started not seeing our own patients, but of course we assist in things like that. But when you have to see patients from 9 until 7, your energy is going to have to be at an optimal level.
Yeah.
It has to be. You have to be personable. You have to be that cheerful energy that person sees when they haven't had a great day. So
I remember not to cut you off, bro. I remember shadowing this oral surgeon, and so I shadowed him after he came to the office, our office that I used to work at. He had brought some pizza, like I'm talking about like gourmet pizza, beautiful salad, like everything, top of the line. This man didn't touch it. So I'm wondering, like, yo, like, why this guy didn't touch this food? You know what I mean? So I ended up like shadowing like a couple months later. And I'm noticing like, he was like, I can't wait to get home and just eat some greens and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, like, you a vegetarian? He was like, yeah. I'm like, why you don't eat meat? He was like, it slows me down. And I'm talking about this man taking out 4 impacted root canals in 10 minutes, running to the next room and doing crazy procedure, running to the next room, doing this, and it's all because of what he eats. You know what I mean? 60 years old, in shape. And I think that, you know, it all goes down to, you know, what you eat, man. Like, that's the true fountain of youth.
It's huge, man. So
Yeah.
we both encourage everybody, do your own research about that type of stuff. Figure out what works for you, because it definitely does make a difference. I'm gonna ask you to sell your school a little bit right now. What do you think is the main advantage of somebody going to UDM?
You don't have to do a GPER or AGD. So AGD, Advanced Education in General Dentistry, GPR, General Practice Residency. Those are the things that you do as a year extra when you get out of dental school. So what does that do? What's the benefit of that program? The benefit of that program is that you can get extra practice under the fellowship, I guess, of, you know, leading practitioners or dentists, you know, that's around you all the time while you're doing dentistry. What are you losing? A year of income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a person who thinks about that type of stuff, like myself, you know, we always have conversations about income and what we're going to do when we get out of dental school. So I think that Detroit Mercy prepares you so well when you get out of dental school that you don't have to do any of that.
Mm.
You don't have to go and get that extra practice. I mean, you know, when you get out of school, you're still practicing. You know what I mean? Like, you're practicing.
About their procedures, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just like the type of patients that we see, it's just from being in Detroit. You know what I mean? That's where, you know, a lot of people talk about the University of Michigan, and, you know, it's a great school. It's number one. I was thinking about applying there. But you have to realize that it's number one because of research. You know what I mean? So they can't help their patient base. Detroit Mercy has the best patient base in this state. You know what I mean? Only other school I think that relates to us in terms of patient base is Maryland, because that's Baltimore is probably one of the poorest cities outside of Detroit in the country, and it's also I think 100%, like 90% African American.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, you know, this school allows you to see those patients that are medically compromised and able to, you know, let you get the full spectrum of treating that patient rather than kicking it up to like their AGD program or their specialty program. Because as a D3 and D4, you want to be able to see that patient, treat that patient in full entirety, because when you get out, you don't know what's going to walk in that office.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that that's the biggest thing about our school is the fact of preparation, man. Because even in our D1 and D2 year, they're preparing us, because the type of course model we have is just so indicative of, like for SimLab specifically, I was a patient for the CDCA, which is our D4 had their exam to, you know, get out of here after they passed their exam. So, or their board exam. I remember going to the CDCA. I'm like, yo, this is really, really indicative of our SimLab competency.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's the same type of thing. And I'm just like, man, like what they do in the sense of asking us our questions or our biomed exam, and that being exactly like how board exam questions is, to also, you know, preparing us in SimLab to be ready for our CDCA exam is great, man. So the best thing about, you know, our school is the fact that everybody gets out on time when they graduate, which is huge. People pass their CDCA exams and they prepare us to not have to do GPR or AGD when we get out of school, man.
Perfect. And that's another huge thing, you know.
That's important.
Some of these schools' patient pool is very small.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, being in a city like Detroit, I'm sure that's a huge advantage where you don't have to worry about getting that extra crown in order to graduate and things like that.
The thing is, if you worried about getting that extra crown, just go drive 2 minutes downtown and go find somebody.
Hey, man.
You can't think that everybody gonna come to you, of course, but if you do need that extra one, they here. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're about to wrap up the interview. It's been a great interview so far. Antonio, if you could give any last words of advice to our viewers, just about, pursuing dentistry in general, applying to dental school, whatever it may be, just one last piece of cloth, we call it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think my pivotal piece, which I try to tell a lot of people who's applying to dental school. As I said before, I only applied to one dental school. Why was I able to apply to one dental school? Because I knew the dental school. They knew me. They knew me by first name. When I called, it's Antonio without me even saying anything. You know what I mean? So it's like I was calling a cell phone number. So it's important to everybody who's applying to dental school. Don't think that you got to spend $5,000. And we have friends who did this to apply to 4 schools.
We do.
And not hear back from one. Don't think that that's going to be the case. No, you have to be able to have a rapport with that school. You know what I mean? Let that school know you. You know what I mean? Have always had that one school where if this school don't work out, okay, I guess I'll go to another one. But you should always have that one school. And this was my one school. So I feel like, you need to be emailing the dean. You need to be emailing the associate dean. You need to be emailing the director of multicultural affairs. You need to be also finding faculty that go to the school and talk to them about the school. Talk to the students. These people at this school knew I was coming to this school because they seen me so much. You know what I mean? It's a lot of the time they thought I was in school already. You know what I mean? So I think that it's super important that, y'all build a rapport with the school to make sure that y'all find out as much as you can about the school so that you're not applying to 30, you're only applying to 2 or 3. That you really, you did your statistics and found out that this is the best school that fit your character and fit, your financial situation. For 2, please, if you got the time, become a dental assistant. Find out the business of dentistry. Listen to Dental Town, Howard Ferran. I'm a big dude on Howard Ferran. He teaches you dentistry, even if you're in high school or if you're a practicing dentist. Make sure that you know about the business of dentistry and things like that, the laws of dentistry and how dentistry affects the world and how the world affects dentistry. And that's really it. Just know that perseverance beats everything. And just, make sure you keep going, man. Never give up. Because if I can tell y'all my full story, I never gave up. And that's the only reason why I'm here right now.
That's great, bro. Great. If you don't mind, can you provide our viewers with some type of contact information? I mean, we said a lot today. I'm sure that some people reach out to you and speak to you individually, So if you have any type of contact information that you're willing to share, please do so.
First name, last name is Antonio McFadden. That's spelled Anthonio. Last name McFadden. My email, I'm going to give you out my school email. It's M as in Mary, C, F as in Frank, ADDAC at udmercy.edu. Feel free, hit me up whenever. I can talk. I love to talk. I'm mentoring a lot of students right now that's, trying to get into dental school. If y'all was offered any type of scholarship situation, I can help you. We'll try to get that increase. Just, hit me up. Let me know, and I got you. Anything you need, I'm here. So just hit me up.
Great. On behalf of FutureDDS, man, and all of our subscribers, thank you, bro. Thank you for giving us your time and your insight on the school. And of course, best of luck to you. But I mean, we're friends, so I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow.
Of course.
But definitely. So everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe, and make sure you hit the
let me say one thing too, bro. Not my fault.
Oh yeah, no, you're good, bro. You're good.
Please, everybody, man, if y'all haven't, looked into these boys' videos, my brothers, Terrell and Tyler, please do. I came up from the trenches with these brothers. And,
it's a long road.
So make sure that, you view these videos, but also, you ask them questions, man, because, a lot of the times when I was applying to schools, if it wasn't for me hitting up Tyler on a number of situations, I wouldn't have gotten through the situation. So, I'm a good source, but also these brothers is really good resources for whatever you need.
We appreciate that, man. We're always here to help, man. But once again, thank you. And everybody else, we'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.